We'd like to welcome you all here again. Tonight, 2 of 4 of PETS 2021. I'm Karina Larson. I'm the district trainer for the Maine side, and we have with us our team of trainers this evening who are going to be leading you through tonight's festivities. You've all heard Robin. She is our also our area assistant governor coordinator for Area 9.
Well,
And
AGC for Maine AGs. I'm not Area 9 anymore. I led you astray. That would be Ken Nagel.
oh, okay. That's right. So you're for all of the areas.
That's
coordinator
right.
for all of the areas. Former, yeah. Okay. Thank you. We have Scott Boucher, who is also the Polio Plus chair. And we have past district governor Doug Abargwin. Where are you, Doug? Oh, there he is.
I'm here.
Yes.
You better be. We do have some folks from outside of the district who've joined us. As we talked about last week with the slide that Doug went through about our districts combining, some of them have joined us this week. And we also have our Quebec side trainer, Eve. You want to give a wave there, who is new to district training this year. So he is watching what we're doing and hopefully not doing the same thing in Canada because, you know, no, just kidding. No, he's, it's really important that we have consistency on either side of the border. And since Robin and Scott and I don't speak French and Doug understands way more than he speaks, it wouldn't be a good idea for us to do the training on the Quebec side. Eve is fluent in both languages, so it's amazing. He's been amazing to work with on that. We also have, I don't know, oh, Joelle, our current district governor. Joelle is here this evening. And I'm looking, Robin, I didn't take attendance, you did. Are there any other? Oh, Denny is here, our district governor nominee. And of course, Doug Curtis, who will be your district governor, is currently district governor elect.
And we have Tina Chapman.
And where's Tina?
There
oh,
she
there
is.
She is. I see her. So,
and she is the district governor nominee designate. Did I get it right? Right. Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So
we always get the last letter messed up.
Well,
Sorry.
Doug will be in the proper order. Joelle is the current district governor. Doug will be district governor after him. Denis follows Doug, and excuse me.
Tina will be following Denis.
Sorry, my son. I don't have a pet, but I do have an 18-year-old son that, you know, Doug. I'm how Jack is, but interrupts me. But Tina will be following him, and then that's all that they have online for now. But it's really amazing that they're all here to keep the consistency going from year to year. So that is a really amazing thing. And Doug's wife, Farrellyn, I see you here as well this evening. So welcome, everybody. Tonight we're going to start with if you look on your agenda, once again, you have a link to the resources document and the president's manual. So those 2 items are going to be things that we'll be training and you'll be able to refer to as we go through. And we're going to go back to those strategic priorities that were discussed back in the action plan for Rotary. And tonight, we're going to start with increase our ability to adapt. And a lot of the things that we put under that subject, we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm going to start with one of the things that we actually, all of us really enjoy talking about this topic, and it's running your clubs, because every one of us is a past president. Robin and I have been president I've been president twice. Robin's been president 1.5 times. And it's a really wonderful honor to be president. So all of you presidents-elect who are here today and the vice presidents who are here today, not only are we happy to have you attending, we are thrilled that you have taken on this responsibility for your club to be president for your group. And you know they appreciate it as well. The reason why I love this is because the second time I got to be president, I was really able to take a look at our club structure. Oh, let's start sharing some screens, some slides. Why don't we? I was really able to take a look at the club structure that was currently in the that the club was using, and look at the new things that RI was doing, some of which we talked about last week, and actually implement some of that for myself, for our club. And Robin and I made an amazing plan, and it was pretty scary, I think, for our club, because we made some pretty big changes. If you guys remember, when clubs used to be, some of you will remember, but I don't know, a lot of you are newer won't remember, but clubs used to be organized by what they called the 4 avenues of service. And now they've changed to the club leadership plan, and we'll get into that a bit later. But this is the recommended club structure for the club structure for Rotary clubs all over the world. Depending on the size of your club, you'll be implementing this in different ways. Rotary recommends 5 club committees, and you can add, eliminate, or combine any of these as you see fit for your club, because that's how Rotary operates, right? They're really flexible. They want you to be able to do what you need to make your club special, but give you the tools that in order to do that effectively. You can make subcommittees according to your specific interests, and the number of members is all up to you as well. And your AGs are really actually a good resource here, because many of them have been to a number of clubs, and your district governors too, especially past district governors who've already been through visiting all of their clubs. They've gone to so many different clubs and seen so many different organizations. They're a really good resource for helping you look at your club. And we're going to talk tonight about some of the other tools that you can use to help determine what those what the best structure will be for your club. What are the things you need the most? What's a committee that you really need to strengthen in your club in order to help get some of your goals met? So later on this evening, we'll be doing some more of us will do a SWOT analysis. You'll learn all about that, but some strategic planning things that will help you get through that. Of course, we have, if you have a chairperson for each one of these 5 things and subcommittees for all of the different aspects that you think belong in each one of those categories, you will be covering everything that needs to be covering to be an effective club. And a little bit later on, I'm going to talk to you a lot more about the kinds of things that go into being a very effective Rotary club. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Robin, who's going to talk about the standard club constitution and recommended bylaws. Another part of that structure, that basic structure, along with the committee structure, are the actual rules that govern your club. So Robin, take it away. Robin, unmute and take it away.
Thank you. I had a coughing spell earlier. Didn't want to do that to everyone. Forgot to unmute. Okay, so one of the action items from last week was to find and review your club's bylaws. Do you know where to find your club's bylaws? Where do you keep them? You might consider adding them to the club documents portion of your Club Runner website so that all of your members have access to them. The Rotary clubs and districts are guided by the Manual of Procedure, RI Constitution, and the RI Bylaws. These documents provide the structure for RI's policies and procedures. Next slide, please, Karina. Thank you. So the standard Rotary Club Constitution provides basic rules for all your Rotary clubs. It is updated every 3 years to include changes enacted by the Council on Legislation. The Rotary International Constitutional documents provide club and districts the foundation for RI's policies and procedures. Your club's bylaws provide additional guidelines for managing your club. Review your club's bylaws regularly, update them as needed. It's a really wonderful thing to take a look. We didn't do it in our club for many years. And when we finally did take a look, we realized that the meeting time was off, the location, our dues, like all the day-to-day operations of our club were just completely wrong because we've done a lot of changes. So it's very important to take a look at this. And it doesn't take a whole lot of effort. Have a couple people get a committee going and, have a review. Can you change the slide, please? Thank you. So the importance of your bylaws, as you can see, it governs your club. It's the flavor of your particular club. You might look to, the manual of procedure is a great document to have on hand. It is online. You can find it through Rotary.org. It offers a concise version of Rotary's policies and procedures. It's geared to Rotary club and district leaders and features information that's most relevant to their roles. It's kind of the go-to. Just every year every few years it comes out. I know I go and order one and get one because it's just a good thing to have in my bag. It's published every 3 years. It reflects the adopted legislation, the decisions of the RI conventions, the Council on Legislation, Rotary International Board of Directors, and the trustees of the Rotary Foundation. Every club and district can propose amendments to the constitutional documents through the Council on Legislation. Next. Thank you. Covered in the bylaws, obviously, these items here. When do you amend your bylaws? Like I said earlier, when things change, you may want to add board members such as a director or president nominee or sergeant at arms, whatever the flavor of your club is. The current bylaw template requires a minimum of the president, the immediate past president, president-elect, secretary, and treasurer. And you can adopt from there. You cannot mess with those though. Use the recommended Rotary bylaws, Rotary Club bylaws, which reflect current Rotary policy as a template, and then you adapt them to reflect your culture. And something else to consider that's a little timely. There's been changes in recent years from RI, but there's also maybe a change in how we do memberships, and do your bylaws reflect that? On top of that, we were in the pandemic and there have been a lot of changes for clubs and how they operate right now. So how many of those changes will be adopted by your club after the pandemic? Maybe some, maybe none, but depending on those changes, your club may need to revise your bylaws. So just keep that in mind as you move forward. Next slide, please. Thank you. So your bylaws. Note, now your club members must vote on any proposed amendments to the bylaws, and be sure to notify members about the proposed amendment at least 10 days before a regular meeting. Then you have to be sure that at least 1/3 of your active members, so you have a quorum, are present to vote. And then in order to pass, the amendment needs the votes of 2/3 of the members present. Sounds like a lot, but again, it's in your bylaws. It's in all these documents that we've been talking about. Amendments have to conform to the standard Rotary Club Constitution and the Rotary International Constitution and Bylaws. All of this can be found at Rotary.org under Governance Documents. We have added the links to these documents, including the Manual of Procedure. to your agenda and the resource document. And it's also linked at the top of the agenda, so it's kind of hard to miss. Um, let's see. I think that kind of wraps up what I've got. I'm just looking at the last of my notes and I've covered it. So Karina, thank you very much. At this point, we'll be shifting over to the budget and Scott will take it from here.
All right, thank you, Robin. So, club budget. This is an important area that sometimes is overlooked, especially by the president-elects. Um, I have a nightmare from a few years ago when I actually talked to a president-elect at PETS, um, and they said, "No, we really don't do a budget. We just go by our QuickBooks statements and whatever it was last year. We just kind of carry forward. We really don't." It was almost like they hadn't really put a lot of thought into it. And I'm going to tell you that's a big faux pas. And hopefully, most of you realize that on this call tonight. You really need to become familiar with having a formalized budget, something that you guys can work on, review, set goals, but track from year to year. And I would tell you that somebody will say, well, that's the treasurer's job. That's not really my job as president elect. And that is also a wrong answer. You, as the leader of the club, need to be in charge of these items. Yes, you'll certainly take input from the treasurer, but you really are going to be leading the charge on developing what the club budget should look like. My recommendation, and it was actually given to me prior to even when I became president, was having a little bit of a subcommittee. That would be actually the current president, the president elect, and the treasurer, the three of you sitting down, reviewing the budget for the upcoming year together. So it's not just one person setting the budget or defaulting it down to the treasurer and letting it be that one person's job. It really should be a little bit of a group effort that you're going to be developing this. Ideally, hopefully you've already started looking at your budgets. If not, my recommendation is that you really need to take the month of April that we're in right now and finalize your budget for the upcoming club year. The reason I emphasize that is because in an ideal situation, you're going to be sending out your members' dues requests in the month of May. And so in the month of May, you're going to be starting to work on collecting those dues. And does your budget require you to have an increase in dues? Are you going to be able to keep the dues levels the same? These are items that you need to be discussing about and maybe getting approval from your board prior to sending out those due notifications. So again, I know we're throwing a lot at you really fast this month, but that is one of the items I would definitely tell you if you haven't finalized your budget yet, it needs to be a priority, and it needs to be a priority ASAP. In the resource document that we've given you guys access to, today I actually went online to the rotary.org, and there's actually a club treasurer section on the website. And I was actually able to download a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet for a template that you could use for a budget if you don't have one already. Or if you say, you know what, I'm just looking to see how other clubs are organizing their budgets, that template is going to be linked right into that PETS resource guide. And again, it is an Excel format. So, again, feel free to tear it apart, use it however you want to have that might be beneficial to you. Couple items I want to make sure that when you're working on your budget, I wouldn't envy a person right now having to set a budget in COVID times. I'm sure 2 years ago, nobody was anticipating how the world of COVID was going to impact my club's budget. But it really becomes a reality that we need to focus on. How is your club going to operate for the upcoming year? A lot of clubs are still operating remotely, not paying for rental space. Maybe you're going to be doing a hybrid method where you're going to be meeting twice a month in person, twice a month remotely. These are some of the conversations that you need to start having and be prepared, because obviously there's going to be costs associated with this that you need to build into the budget. If you need new technology, maybe you're looking to make your in-person meetings also Zoom capable. So maybe you need to set up a camera inside your club meeting. Maybe these are some new expenses that you weren't really anticipating to have to absorb. But again, it's a great discussion as you're forming your budget. What will be the expenses that you need for this upcoming year? The other item is, a lot of us, not only do we rely on club dues coming through in our budget, but also we host major fundraisers. You might have a hunter's breakfast, you might have an auction. In the COVID world, what does that look like for this upcoming club year? I know it's very hard to predict, but these are some of the items that have to be discussed out now so that you can properly set your dues levels amounts, or you can properly set your expectations of what you'd like to be funding for this upcoming year. District conference. One of the items I always like to highlight when people are developing budgets, in an ideal world, I would love to see every club in our district allocate a certain amount of dollars to help maybe their presidents be sponsored to go to the district conference. This is not just a commercial for Doug's upcoming district conference, but there's so many valuable things that a Rotarian can receive out of a district conference. It's like drinking the Rotary Kool-Aid. And I'm always excited. And I always like to mention, as you're developing your budget, if there are dollars available, please consider setting some money aside to help sending maybe a member or two to the district conference. Another item is usually with each district governor, we have a district governor's project, and each of the clubs in our district like to support that project. So another line item that we highlight when you're developing your budget is making sure you've allocated the amount of dollars that you need to help support the district governor and the project that they've selected for the upcoming year. One tip that was given to me years ago when I was first becoming president-elect is trying to set aside a small amount of money for what I would call the presidential discretion fund. And the reason this came up is because throughout the course of your presidential year, you may receive different little requests and different little needs that pop up. It might have been as simple as a Little League team is looking to help solicit a sponsor, would like to have the Rotary Club sponsor new jerseys. That might be something that wasn't necessarily included in the budget, but you have a little bit of a presidential discretionary money set aside that can help do that special project. You may need to have an improved technology. Maybe your club projector goes down and you're trying to scramble to say, gee, now we need to go out and buy a new club projector. Again, giving yourself a little bit of a buffer that allows you to have that presidential discretionary fund for those curveballs that might be thrown at you. It's always a recommended item. And I would also emphasize your focus on your Rotary Foundation. Part of your budget is, what are we looking to do to support the Rotary Foundation? Is there going to be a specific fundraiser that we're going to try to do? Or are we going to allocate certain dollars from membership dues? Or do we include a separate subdivision on our membership dues to have additional donations going to the Rotary Foundation? It's such an important part of Rotary itself. We all really need to help support the foundation. And how are we going to do that? Whether it be through special fundraisers or however you collect those dollars, that should also be included in your budget. I would also recommend on a quarterly basis, checking in with your treasurer, reviewing your budget, making it a living, breathing document that you're constantly going back and reviewing. And I would emphasize of getting that past knowledge of the current president or even the past presidents. How do they develop their budgets? Because I think, like I said, with COVID times, you're going to need all the help you can have trying to project what this upcoming year is going to look like. So again, I would recommend the PETS resources. I gave you the template as an included link. If you do have any questions, feel free to contact any of us on the training team. We've all had experiences in developing these budgets, but it is certainly an important thing that you need to start working on now. So thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Very good information there.
Brandon, before he leaves, can I jump in real quick?
Yep. Go
What?
right ahead, Doug.
I won't do it very often, I promise.
You guys hear that?
Scott, the only thing I would ask you to do is say the whole thing again because it was excellent. And a little tidbit that I would like to add to what Scott said, and the reason I'm jumping in is because this is a COVID year, and I did my budget a month ago, and already it's changed already. So just the flexibility of what COVID is bringing is so important. You can plan, but automatically RI has already changed things for me already. So just be aware of that. And I like to emphasize one thing Scott mentioned, and not because I don't think it's important, but I know in my club when I was president, probably the most important little thing I had was for lack of a better word, I had a slush fund for our benefactions account where I had $1,000, and I actually used it 9 times during my year as president without having to go back to the board or whatever, because there are things that do come up like Scott mentioned. And I think it's very important as you as president-elect have that opportunity to have that ability in your club. I would strongly suggest that you do that because there are some things that are time sensitive. And if you want to respond to it, that's probably the best way to do it. So I just throw that back out. Thank you. I'll keep my mouth shut.
No, feel free to jump in. So all of the items that we just talked about, your budget, your constitution and bylaws, your club structure, those are all elements that go into making your club a vibrant club. And this is additionally one of the items that's linked in your on the resources document. Jeepers. So what is a vibrant club? Is it fun? Is it lively? Is it diverse? Is it open to new ideas? Are your members involved and doing things to support the club? So do you have meaningful projects that people really like to be involved in? And is your club one of those clubs that will try the new ideas rather than being afraid of trying something new, or the dreaded, and we all know this, why fix it when it's not broken? Or that's not how we've done it. I'm sure you've all heard those in different areas of your life. And some of those are also in clubs. So why is being a vibrant club good for you? Having new ideas always coming into your club keeps it relevant. Look at what happened with the pandemic and with Zoom. So clubs that are vibrant clubs are always out looking for those ways to stay relevant. And they're still at the same time trying to meet all their members' needs. So without scaring people too much with the change, but maintaining that balance. They are flexible. The flexibility that you guys have now as Rotary clubs is amazing, because that's new. That's not how it's always been. And I think that it's made some really interesting differences in a lot of clubs. It enhances the experience. It's been attracting new members, and it can help to keep members involved. We're going to look at some of the recommended best practices to let you know what makes a vibrant club, and get you thinking about which of these best practices. I'm having trouble with the English language tonight, sorry. Which of these best practices you can apply in your club. Make a long-range plan. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. What do you want your club to look like in 3 years, in 5 years? Do you want a more diverse membership? Are you interested in getting more community involvement? Are you looking for ways to conduct more meaningful projects? Or make a plan and setting goals that can be achieved in 3 to 5 years, long-term goals. Those can help you to achieve all of the different objectives that we're going to talk about and more. So a strategic plan can help capture your members' priorities regarding the activities and ideas that we want to keep, to change, or implement to achieve our new goals. Our annual visioning session could actually help you assess your club and decide what, if anything, needs to change, or what can be done a little bit better. We're going to have a great strategic planning session not tonight, that's next week or the week after. I'm not sure which one, but it's coming up. It's not tonight. It is easier to achieve long-range goals when they're broken into smaller annual goals, and we've mentioned these goals before. Rotary Club Central can help you transform your goals, your club's vision, into little mini goals that you can achieve in less time. So take those long-range goals and divide them into smaller tasks, smaller action items that can be carried out throughout your year. Club leaders can track their club's progress toward their goals on Rotary Club Central. I talked about that a little bit before. I'm going to try to go in and show you some of that if we have time this evening. And you can and make sure to update your committees and your members regularly in Club Runner, in your club if that's where you have it, or on the district website if you do not. Lively, informative meetings. You know, holding engaging meetings is a great way to keep your members active and involved. And I gotta say, the pandemic has opened up the world to your meetings, right? You can have someone from anywhere, I guess, given the time frame, if they're awake during your meeting, but it's really opened up a bunch of opportunities for having some really lively, informative meetings in your club and keep people coming back to see what's going to be next. You can make sure the meetings are engaging by using a member satisfaction survey, and not just your meetings. You can make sure all of the things your club does are resonating with as many members as possible. The survey results can tell what they like, what they don't like about meetings and about other things in your club, and give ideas for improving them. And a good way to boost attendance is to vary the meeting format. Unfortunately, we've been stuck in one format for a while, but if you could hold some of them online and some with a mix, some in person, as soon as we can, maybe outside with socially distanced. Our club was doing that before it got too cold. One meeting a month, we would have outdoors, all sitting apart, and at least it got us together, and that was a great feeling. Make sure that your strategic plan includes a communication plan. A vibrant club is open to using creative methods to inform their members and the community about the club and its activities. And we have all kinds of opportunities for that in today's digital world. You can use all the social media and, of course, Zoom. We have Facebook pages, Instagram. There's, you know, all those things. Ask your kids if you don't know, because they do. Social media is, it really helps promote your activities further out in the community, your friends and family. And it's also a great way to get new members, shows prospective members what you're doing and how they can be a part of the community. So it's important to keep your club website up to date and your social media sites like Facebook and current, and showing those things that you are actually doing when you're doing them. Plan to maintain continuity of leadership. So when you're working on that 3 to 5 year plan, you need to get the involvement of the people who are coming up behind you, so that your pieces that you're working on can be picked up and the next step can be taken on by the next person, if it's a really big goal that you're working on. To make sure that your club achieves those goals, then it's important to have leaders who've been involved from the beginning in setting goals and making decisions, and then having new leaders coming up that are being involved in making the decisions. Continuity in leadership is important, and it means selecting officers several years in advance, reporting them into your membership, however you do it in Club Runner, and make sure that they're involved in the planning, and show them Rotary Club Central. Get them involved. Adapt the bylaws that suit your club, as Robin just mentioned. The recommended bylaws are meant to be adopted, and it's encouraged that you review it every year just to make sure that you're on track. Develop relationships within the club. People who enjoy their clubs are more likely to be active members. One way to keep members connected to the club is to organize social and networking events that give us a chance to get to know each other better. Again, difficult right now, but there are ways to do it. I just played online bingo at a place, what was it called? I wanted to give you guys that. I just found it the other day. I was at another seminar, and I'll put it on the resources, and we played online bingo, but it was just so much fun. You can make up the cards and the answers and all of the questions. So there are things you can do online that do make things a little bit more fun. and match members' activities to their interests. One of the zone institutes I went to, I think it was with you, Doug, not Curtis, Doug Abargwin. We had this amazing woman talk to us about membership, and she did this little thing where she sat in a chair, and she was on the stage, and she sat down in a chair, and she looked at the chair. Wow, this is a great chair, right? It's holding me up, although mine's kind of squeaky, but I feel really comfortable in it. I feel like I'm supported. My back doesn't hurt. I like this chair a lot. It's at the perfect height for the table. Okay, chair. Now, fly me to California. Well, guess what? The chair's not going to fly you, because that's not what a chair does, right? So make sure that when you ask somebody to do something, you're asking them to do something that they are good at doing. And don't ask a chair to fly, you know? Don't ask the person who's the thinker, who's coming up with all these ideas and bringing them to your club all the time to be a treasurer, because that's probably not going to be the best place for them. And when we're live at Pets, we do a really great exercise on that, so that you can gain the strengths of your club, and the strategic planning can help with that too. Survey your members to find out what they like, but I think as watching them, you can learn just as much. Coach members to lead. Get them involved in things like this training. If you think that you see somebody later on, have them watch some of the old trainings that we have on video. Make sure that they attend district trainings when they're available. New member orientations, online learning. There's all kinds of ways to develop leadership within your club. Appointing a club trainer, or if the club is large, a training committee, can help make sure that new and current members get that training. And members are encouraged to visit the Learning Center at Rotary.org regularly to see what courses are available. There are courses there all the time. You can also, again, use the survey to find out what people want to learn. Create effective committees. That what we talked about with that structure: administration, membership, public relations, Rotary Foundation, and service. You guys, larger clubs can have more subcommittees, and smaller clubs can try to combine things that if they need to. You can find the story of a club in our region that overcame its challenges by using some of the best practices in Be a Vibrant Club, Your Club Leadership Plan, which is linked in the resources document. So all of the things that are on this page are available in the resources link, directly or indirectly. The member satisfaction survey is actually something that RI gives you one as a sample, but you can use whatever you want for your club in order to do that. Introducing new members to Rotary is an orientation that they have, but there's for instance, our club has been using one for years that we just keep changing, and that's very specific to our club. But it's important to have some sort of orientation for your new members. That's huge. So work together to compare your club's current practices, with each of the best practices listed in the guide that we just went through. For areas that need improvement, think of new ideas and decide how to implement them. Add them to your goals. Hopefully after this training, you guys will have a really good idea of what to look for in your club, or how to go about doing some more research to find out what you might be missing. For areas that need improvement, that's what you'll do. Come up with a goal to fix it. Change takes time, And it takes courage. It takes courage for you to be the one to go to your club and say, hey, I really feel like we should change this up. And here's why. Change for the sake of change is not always a good idea. As a matter of fact, it's not usually a good idea, but there's very good reasons for a lot of the change that can happen within a lot of clubs. So now, oh, look, it's time for a break. We are thankfully running ahead of schedule, and because I need to have time to get you on to Rotary. Do you guys want me to do that now and break at 7, or do you want to do it after? It might be good to end on the Doug, Scott, Robin.
Well, you've got plenty of time, and if we can get into my Rotary, I think that would be a good place to go at this point, because I had that you actually would have had until like 7:15 to conclude what you just concluded. So.
All right, so why don't we have a break now, and then I'll do it after. Done.
That works.
I think that's what you guys are saying.
And that the strategic planning you were speaking of, that will take place on the 4th and final training evening.
Okay, good. Thank you. I couldn't remember when it was. All right. So everybody, we are going to take a 5-minute break. So come back in 5 minutes, and 6:53. Why don't we make it 6:55? It'll be good. Come back at 6:55 and we will continue. And if anybody has any questions, we can take them now.
So Corinna, a lot of things have been covered here. I'm not sure what's in the plans for, normally we have at Pets, we have a rundown of what clubs can support the district project. Is that planned for later?
What
Pledging.
exactly are you asking for?
So like,
Pledging for the,
normally during Pets, we ask the clubs if they'd be willing to support the district project with a dollar amount. I don't know if that's going to be part of future.
No, we weren't planning on doing that. I didn't know that you wanted to do that, and you did your district project, but if you want to.
Well, I mean,
We'll
all
see what
I would say is I would ask the presidents to go back to their club and just ask the club what they think that they can do.
They're not
Because-
here right now, but why don't we ask them, why don't we put that at the end of the agenda for today to ask them as an action item to go back to their clubs?
Yep.
That would be perfect. We can
Thank
do
you.
that. And then we can bring it up again. If you need time, contact me. If you need time, we can bring it up again in one of the next sessions.
Since Scott mentioned it tonight, I thought that would be a good thing to do.
Excellent. Doug, can you write that in on the agenda? I've got to run off for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Dougie Bargwin. Do you coming on Saturday?
Yes, I'll be there.
Okay,
Yeah.
do you have something you want me to put on the agenda? Point you want to discuss?
Well, at this point, I haven't really had much
Okay.
time to think about it, but I'll if
I will
come
send
up-
the agenda tomorrow. So if you
Okay.
come up with
Oh.
something, just send me a quick email. Just gonna add it on it because
Okay.
I have like 15 points they send me. regarding what they would like to talk about, so.
Okay, all right,
Good.
I'll put my thinking cap on. Thanks, Joel.
No problem. Thanks.
So Karina, we did have one suggestion that maybe the resource sheet could be added to 7790 or a website somewhere so it's easily accessible. Just passing that on.
And we're back. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Doug, you can help guide me with this, Doug Abargwin, to some of the things that would be important for people to see. But I'm going to before I go there, well, I'll go there anyway, but you guys can see. So once again, just to remind you, the Rotary website is rotary.org and the district website is rotary7790.org. So they're very easy to remember. Of course, the links are in the resources sheet, which you've all been given. And this is what you're looking at now, I think, is the Rotary homepage. Yeah, okay, thank you, Scott. Where you're gonna wanna go, oops, every time is right here. I wonder if this works in here. My Rotary. My Rotary is how you get into Rotary. I'm already logged in apparently. So it will, if you are not logged in, it'll take, oh, I'm not, look, sign in. It takes you to this page to sign in. And the first thing you want to do is to sign in. If you do not, you would click the register for an account button right there. Handy tip, use the same login on the district website as you use at rotary.org. I don't normally recommend using the same website in places, but the information is not super hackable. I mean, it might be, but it's not something that people would be that concerned about having so much. So it's not like it's got your bank account information or anything like that. And it just makes things a lot easier. So when you do log in to My Rotary, you get your dashboard. And the cool thing is you get a club snapshot right here. How many members, who's the club president, and you can view the club goals from right here. And this is where it gets a little confusing because people say Rotary.org, the RI website, My Rotary, and Rotary Club Central. So they throw all these things at you all the time. Just remember, Rotary.org is the website. My Rotary is how you get into Rotary, and Rotary Club Central is the area of the website where you can manage your goals. So if I click on view club goals, yeah, it brings me to my club's page. Now I can't do the things here that you guys can because my access, I'm not a president-elect, but it gives you some really important information right here. If you go to the goal center, oh, I can, wow. So if you go to the goal center, this is where you enter those goals that we were talking about to put on the website, where you can actually track the progress. And that again helps with Rotary International with that data. And the data that Rotary International has is what helps keep it going in the right direction, helps keep it to see the trends that are coming by knowing what people are doing in their communities, because they can't be in everybody's communities, but you are. So you're giving them that information from your community. And when they're hearing that from all over, they can give new resources to help support people in those specific areas. You should have goals for each of these 4 big areas, and once you have your goal and you enter the different, I can't enter anything here. The website automatically tracks the goal. So we've actually achieved one, and we've gotten 4 new members instead of the goal of 2. So you can see 2 of the goals on the Rotary on our Old Town website are met. Your AGs can help you, your assistant governors can help you if you cannot navigate in here. And there are also in the resources, step-by-step instructions as to how to enter a goal. And you can reach out to any one of us as well if you need more help with that. Where's my learn? I got to go back. Do I have to go back out to go to my Rotary? Yep. Resources. Look, there you go. Or you could just click on resources within Rotary Club Central and get all right there. The first one, how to set a goal in Rotary Club Central, how to report your progress. All of it is there. A lot of the tools that we gave you are also in here because we linked them directly from the Rotary website. So all of
Rena?
Yep.
One of the things when you were in the Goal Center that you probably ought to mention is to notice at the top that you can refer to this next oncoming year, or you can refer to the previous year. So you have a 3-year span that you can cover there with looking at the goals.
Oh yeah, look, I can edit the old ones for some reason.
But that will also help guide you when you're setting your goals, so you can see what your club has done in the past. You know, if their annual fund giving is at a certain level, don't expect them to give it 110%, you know.
And
it's a bit of a guide.
Here, exactly. So don't forget these tabs here, which I did. That was just membership. Then there's foundation, service, youth, public image. And actually, if you click that one, you can see all of the goals that are there. Reports. This is a very handy place to go as well. And I would just really encourage you all just to go into Rotary.org, log into My Rotary, and go to Rotary Club Central and look at all of the things that are available in there, and just spend some time clicking, because there are all kinds of reports. You have your club reports, and members in the club, all of these reports, and then a whole bunch of district. Oh no, they can't see the district reports, can they? I don't know if you can see district reports or not. Sorry. Foundation giving. This is very interesting for your foundation person. And once you have a designated somebody as a foundation chair, and done it in either Club Runner or on the district website, and selected foundation chair, they will start getting emails from Rotary International with monthly training ideas. They will get access to the reports in Rotary Club Central, all of that. So it's really important that when you do select people as chairs, you go by those names that were on that club structure: membership chair, foundation chair. I mean, they're pretty basic anyway. And those folks will start getting communications from extremely relevant communications for training for them, webinars they can attend, all kinds of information. So it's really important. You can get, a polio report for your club. There are just all kinds of, or not, all kinds of different reports you can get. And the more information you put into the goals, the better these reports are, because they can get pull the information from what you've put in. So not only does it go to Rotary International, it's really helpful for you to use some of the reporting for your own club. If we go back to, there's just so much there. If we go back to My Rotary, which is your personal dashboard, there are all of these areas up here. And Doug, which one's learn.rotary.org? Is it in here?
It's under the Learning Center, then you have the Learning Center under that. If you,
Oops.
yes. The Learning Center in the
Oh, I see.
left-hand
Learning
column.
Center. Yes, that's what. So this is another, so under learning and reference, the Learning Center, which I believe is also linked on the resources. This is where you can find a lot of asynchronous types of training, things that people can do at any time. They can do it at their own pace. They don't have to sign up for a webinar and be there in attendance. They can take these when they need them and refer back to them whenever they want to. They can set up their own plan for learning, and it's just there's all kinds of options there. They even have course catalogs. Well, these are the course catalogs rather. So I strongly recommend you guys take some time and just look around on rotary.org.
I have a
Karina?
question in the
Yes,
chat.
go ahead,
Oh,
Rob.
go fire away.
Go ahead, question in the chat.
How can I tell if my chair's info has been updated? How can I tell if my chair's info has been updated for next year?
So you put, they were entered in, do you have Club Runner for your club?
No, I think that they're still talking about Rotary Club Central.
Well, I know, but they need to check first at their club, right?
Yeah, to make sure the
I
chair.
asked the question.
Yep.
Hi, it's Lisa from Bar Harbor. I asked the question.
Hi, Lisa. So do you know, you guys do have Club Runner, so you want to
We
make
do.
sure that they're properly designated in there.
So I
And-
see when I go to Club Runner for Bar Harbor Club, I see that this year's chairs are appropriately listed,
Mhm.
but I can't tell for the next Club Runner or club year if
Click
that
the arrow at the
is
top.
updated. Say it again?
Click the arrow at the top to go to the next year.
Okay,
There should be a right pointing and a left point. You should be able to go back and forth, just like in here. You can also do that in Club Runner.
okay.
And you should be able to see that. And if they're not there, then that's why you won't find them on Rotary International yet.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And if there is a problem, if you do see something in Club Runner and you don't see it, or you did put it in at the district website when you don't, and it's not showing in Rotary International, you need to contact us and we can help you with that. Either there's a problem with synchronization, or there's something slightly off between how things were entered and we can help you fix that. Actually, Doug Bargwin can help you fix that. Sorry, Doug. But he's the master at figuring out those synchronization errors. And frequently it's because people were entered up at Rotary International and that it doesn't come down. The information from Rotary International does not come down. It only goes up. So from your club to the district website to Rotary International, or if you don't have Club Runner at your club, from the Rotary district website up to Rotary International. Anything else in here you guys want me to show them? We're going to do the full technology training later. I just want them to get a taste of what's out there, and there's a lot.
Brenda, I have a request.
Mm-hmm.
So I know some of your secretaries have already done this, but if for some reason you speak to them and they have not done it, please go ahead and update your offices as well as your goals for the following year. It takes just a few seconds of their time, but if you do need help, Doug is a great resource for that. That would be very helpful. And just an observation, I recently looked at a polio report for our district, and I noticed that the clubs that had set a goal in Rotary Club Central achieved their goal, and clubs who did not, did not. So I wanted to just bring that up to you as well. And we're all guilty of it, but I just want to make sure that everybody understands that if you put it down as your goal, it's much easier to achieve it. and it doesn't become a wish. And we're all guilty of not doing enough, I know, but I would strongly suggest that.
All righty, thank you. So, oh, we're not on break anymore. Let's see, hang on a second, let me get to the right slide. Oops. Oh yeah, that's right. So now the other thing that you can enter in that same place on rotary.org are your projects. And I mentioned this a bit before. And this is another big part of being a vibrant club, right? It's the reason most people join the club, because they want to be participating in their community or in the world somewhere, doing a project with their friends, their peers, people that they enjoy being with. So this is a huge part of keeping your club vibrant. But sometimes it's hard to come up with new ideas, especially during this pandemic. It's been rough for a lot of clubs, although there's been some amazing innovation out there. So one of the things that we always do when we have live pets is open up a discussion for people to be able to get into a discussion about what their club does, because people love to talk about their favorite projects that their club does. And when you're sitting there listening to all these projects, you get some great ideas for your own club that you can take with you back to your club. So we thought we would try this in a different sort of way. We're going to break into yep, breakout rooms. Sometimes I'm doing so well and then just nothing. Sorry, everybody. We're going to break out into breakout rooms, and we've got we've got our Google Jamboards, and we've all learned this new skill. So, all right, here's where I'm going to put in my disclaimer. Robin, Scott, Doug, and I are not professionals, and we do not get paid to do this. So occasionally there are technical errors, but we are going to do our best to get everybody into a breakout room, get Scott, Robin, Doug, and I to run the rooms. And what's going to happen is I'm going to set up 3 rooms, and everybody who's left is going to be stuck with me. So everyone's going to automatically go into a room. I'm going to reorder where everybody goes, to make sure that one of our Jamboard people is in there with you. And we'll see how this goes.
All
How
right.
long are we going to be?
Yes, that's my question. Let's make sure we have a timing set up for this.
We were going to do 10 minutes. Should we do 15? We were going to change it to 15.
10 is fine. That'll work. 10 is good. And then we have to come back and revisit. We're going to take there'll be one spokesperson that speaks about one thing, correct?
So what you're all going to do is think about the fundraisers and the community service projects. And sometimes there's, I'm picturing like our Hunter's Breakfast. It's a fundraiser, but it's a community service. Like that could kind of go in the middle of the two. You're going to see a list of service projects and fundraisers, and you guys can just tell the leader what your club does and share, and we'll have a nice list. We'll be able to share all those boards with you later, so we'll be able to email them to all of the participants as PDFs, so you can see what some of them were. You're going to have to remember the details, but we'll give you a basic idea of what each club has, so you guys can all talk about it. Then one person from each group is going to volunteer, or what do they call it when you volunteer someone by picking them?
Coercion.
No. voluntold. They're going to be voluntold. If nobody volunteers, someone will be voluntold to come back and share what they learned that they think would be cool to bring back to their club. So everyone will get to hear from just one thing from all the other groups. But like I said, we'll share them all. So I'm going to stop sharing and start breakout rooms.
Hang on.
Hang on to your hats.
All right, I'm going to do that.
So have you given all of us peons here an ability to share, or do we have that anyway?
You have it anyway.
Once we get in our room,
Oh, look at that.
Yep.
Scott,
the
Robin,
minions.
Yes, we the minions.
Doug, where are you?
I'm right here.
Marvin, okay. Doug. Robin, hang on. I just got to get you guys into the right rooms. All right,
All right.
Robin, where are you?
I'm over here.
No.
How do you like it so far?
I love it. Robin, you're not here.
Okay. All right.
I see Scott. Oh, AGC. Move to room 3. All right. So room 1 will be moderated by Scott. Room 2 will be moderated by Doug Bargwin. Room 3 will be moderated by Robin Merchant. I will open all rooms and I will try to remember to give you a 1-minute count. I'm going to
Warning.
actually tell Alexa to time it for me. So, all right, hang on. Here we go. Computer, give me a 9-minute timer. 9 minutes, starting now. Wait, that didn't work as intended. Crap.
Are we talking about what we give, who we give money to, or what we actually do for projects?
Either one. It's, you could talk about, you know, one of the community services that you're doing, or and then how do you raise the
Well,
money? We're just looking for ideas to share.
Sure. We've been doing Meals on Wheels, food prep on a weekly basis for the past couple of months. And we've also, we give $2,500 to the Boys and Girls Club in Lewiston, Auburn for their after school snack program.
Have you done anything differently this year with COVID? I mean, is it something that you've always done this way? Have you adapted anything differently?
Well, what we've done this year is we've reached out to the different social clubs, service clubs. We've reached out to the Boys and Girls Club to ask them if they need anything from us from COVID, senior supply.
Who's next? Giselle?
Delore. Yeah, so this year, with our biggest fundraiser being canceled because of COVID, we tried something new and we're doing a shred event. And so I consider that fundraising and community service because it's getting the community out there to shred documents. And then we ask for $10 a box. And so that's become our biggest fundraiser.
Wow, that's great. So let me see if I can duplicate that.
And certainly with people being home a lot more, people are finding all that stuff. You know,
Yeah.
they're coming across all that stuff that they shouldn't be keeping in their houses.
Right. Good point. Okay, who's next?
I'm Dolores Landry from the Bangor Noontime Group. And this year, instead of doing our Festival of Lights parade, we did a lighting event where we had people light. We had a contest for people to light their homes and stuff, and found that to be very successful. So we're going to add that in addition to the parade, I think, for next year. So it was, we had some great sponsorships, and it was a good way for us to raise funds for scholarships.
I'm really glad to hear that. It was the best Christmas lights ever.
Wasn't it great?
It was amazing.
Thanks.
People went all out anyway, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how about a community service one? We're filling up with fundraising. Anyone?
Belfast does an e-waste event in the fall.
Lobsters and then not having enough people.
Yep.
So, and then we also have a golf tournament.
Yep.
And
That
our
sounds
golf tournament is targeted for scholarships.
fantastic. How much did you make on the lobster bake, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I wish I had that at my fingertips. Last year we made so little that it was not this year during COVID, we actually did better. And it was, I think it was somewhere around $2,000 or $3,000.
Fantastic.
But we've had some years where it's worse.
Yeah, but you know what? I think people this year were feeling it. It's social, it's supporting local, it's keeping the town alive. Everybody recognized that at a certain point. So it's community service, and you did fundraising, and I'm sure the fundraising went back into the community like the rest, that's what we do, right?
Right.
Fantastic. Who else has got some ideas?
I'll go. Probably our in West Bay, our largest fundraiser now is most likely the rubber ducky.
Oh, right.
Challenge we have, a race we have, which takes place usually, not this year, we're going to change it because of COVID still, but Memorial Day. And it's basically
a beautiful piece of land, and decided that community gardens would be a good thing to do up there. So we're kind of partnering with them to do that. And then for a fundraiser every year, we do a mini golf tournament, kind of like a traditional golf tournament, but on a mini golf course. So we still get whole sponsors and everything like that. And we typically make a couple $1,000s doing that. We didn't get to do it this past year.
I know Bar Harbor does one also for the past several years, been successful. Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. For a guy who doesn't like regular golf, miniature golf's right up my alley. So, any other projects to highlight?
Yeah. So here in Belfast, we did at lunchtime, and we've always done the 100 Fund. So it's a charitable community event. Christmas time, we do gifts and winter boots and a variety of things for family.
We did, we normally have a lobster bake every August. This year we did it with online ordering only, with times for people to pick up. It went well. We didn't raise as much as we would with a lobster bake where we might serve almost 1,000 meals, but I think we served about 600 meals. And we decided that we're probably going to use that model every year, even if COVID comes to an end, because it reduces waste and it lets us know in advance how many lobsters we need.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing the things that we learn by having gone through this or going through it as we speak. Anyone else? Jonathan?
So Camden Rotary, one of the major 3 fundraisers every year is a 4th of July concert, which happens at, in the Harbor Park in Camden, referred to as Music by the Sea. Now, we had to cancel that last year, but we were very fortunate to have many of our donors still support it. I'd say we raised half as much as we might have anyway. This year, we are planning Music by the Ski at the Camden Snow Bowl, so the musicians can be on a stage and the crowd can be spread out along the gentle slope of the beginner slope, watching the music. And so that fundraiser happens by
kind of in between.
Yes, kind of
So,
cleans up the area.
yep. I'll do
Gail,
it.
I'll just jump in and tell you, we're having problems with e-waste Rotary wide in Maine this year because there's only one company left, and we're working on trying to get them to be a little bit more cooperative. In the past, we've had 2 or 3 companies that would do it, so we're down to just one company in Maine. So it may not be a project we can do in Rotary going forward, and Mark can probably talk about that as well. But it's been a successful fundraiser, and I actually stole the idea from West Bay when I was the AG. So I just want you to know there's plenty of e-waste to go around. It's unbelievable. But getting the people to help organize, it's about a two-week project setting it up, and it's a one-day event. And we usually, we make around $3,000. So it's a great event. I hope we don't lose it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that is the amazing thing too, Doug, is that I think Belfast does one, we do one, and Rockland does one, and there's still plenty of it.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll take combining the clubs to effort together to get, maybe the company, convince the company, but
yep.
yeah.
Is it only going to?
Parade, we canceled it because of COVID. But to replace it, what we did is we offered window painting for kids in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce in town. So the kids were able to safely, safe distance, be able to paint windows and decorate the windows in town for recognition of the 4th of July. So it wasn't a parade, but it was fun for the kids.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Festival of Lights, being able to drive around and see some community involvement, being socially distanced, but being able to have that connection in the community. It's a great way of doing it. Anything else anybody would like to highlight? Oh, there's Karina. 1 minute remaining. All right, so with that, who wants to be our spokesperson and feature one of these projects? We're just looking to have one person feature something that maybe you weren't aware of before that you can talk about for a minute. Any volunteers? If not, I will certainly delegate. All right, I'm going to delegate this to Zachary.
Excellent. And you know, I know that it's been said that you can't really do much for fundraisers during COVID, but I know our own club had two very.
Also have now a secret panel of judges who judge who they think is the best performer. So we're actually giving out like $6,000 to $8,000 to 4 local high schools, and they all end up winning money in the various categories. So it funds their school departments. The old town school department that Robin is from is.
This was rude.
It's abrupt. What do you mean it was rude? I gave you warning.
Yeah, but we didn't see the countdown going on our screen. Usually there's a countdown, say 30 seconds.
It said 57 seconds, and the next thing I knew, our room was gone.
That's because I told you the minute before. All right. So did everybody have some good discussion in your groups? It looks like the boards were nice and full of all kinds of different things. I see, Doug, you really pimped your board.
Oh yeah.
Man, with the background and the blue and then all the orange. I'm like, wow, that was impressive.
Well, thank you. I know our group was impressed, and they had some great projects to put up there too.
Well,
So
would you like to have someone from your group start the sharing?
I would love it if they would. What generous volunteer from our group would like to tell of an element that they learned during that session that they were not aware of or just thought was a great idea? Anyone, please? Please?
Okay, I'll talk about the Bangor's Festival of Lights, which was awesome. They sponsored houses, lighting up the houses in the community, and it really made a difference this winter. Thank you, Bangor Rotary.
Well, thank you, Pat.
We have time for 2 from each group, so I would like to hear another one from your group.
Okay.
If they would be willing to volunteer.
How about Jonathan? Do you have something to say that you learned out of that? Don't forget you're muted. Trying to get unmuted. There we go.
I liked hearing about Belfast 100 or 140 drive for that many families, children in needs in the holidays. I thought that was a good one.
Yeah, John, do you want to enlighten us for that for the rest of the group?
Sure. Every Christmas, we have a gift wrapping party where shoes or boots, mittens, coats, toys, coloring books, etc., for 140 or so families get wrapped up and distributed by Rotary Santa Clauses. Now, in this past year, we were unable to do that because of the COVID-19 issues. So we were able to give gift certificates to local businesses, Rennie's and Colburn Shoe, where the parents would be able to go there and purchase boots and coats and whatever else they needed. Hopefully this year we'll be restoring the Santas and their elves as they go out and distribute all these things to the kids at Christmas time.
Thank you, John.
All right, Robin, would you
Yes,
like
ma'am.
to go next? I will bring you can see here's the very fancy board that Doug has. I will bring up your board. And thank you for whoever suggested that. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to share them with you. I'm like, well, duh, I could do that now while they're talking. So I'll bring up Robin's board next. And Robin, you can take it away.
Yep. We didn't get a chance to ask volunteers because we were thrown into another room. So Jeff or Gail or someone, would you like to speak up and speak about something that jumped out for you? Anybody? Don't forget to unmute.
Well, I'm just gonna give a thumbs up for Gail's lobster bake, because up until last year, she explained that it was a live event and it cost them money, and it sometimes did not make a lot of money, but by doing a pre-order, they made more money and less waste, and everything worked out great. So I think it's good. And actually what I want to do is, we're just 20 minutes down the road from Skowhegan. So maybe this year we can kind of help them out by promoting it at our club.
Fantastic. Anyone else?
Well, I think Jeff should tell us about the one that Waterville has, where the club members bought gift certificates from the local restaurants, and then they were bundled into packages of different value. And then it was a raffle. Jump in, Jeff, if I get any of this
No,
wrong.
you get it right. That's great.
Yeah, it's a raffle, and they did very well. I thought that was a very good idea. It supports the local businesses, and people love getting gift certificates. So it was a good money raiser, fundraiser, and community service.
Fantastic. Thank you both. I will put in a plug.
Is that the dinner box for a 4-course meal by any chance? Is that the one?
Nope, that's one that DG Joel, they will put together a 4-course meal and sell it as a dinner box for Joel. What, 125 thereabouts?
Yeah,
Serious
125.
fundraiser.
It's for 2 people.
That's fantastic. The one I will put a plug in is the jigsaw puzzle contest that they did on Halloween, dressed up in costumes. You had a time limit and you had to get your puzzle done, and they did it via Zoom. Thank you, everyone.
Excellent. Wow, there's some really new ones here that I've never heard before. So that's fantastic.
Karina, could I
yeah,
just do 2 seconds?
Sure.
From Mid-Coast, I'd like to just say a total thumbs up for e-waste, the electronic waste program that Belfast, I know West Bay has been engaged with for the last few years, is doing a very, very positive environmental program, as well as allowing us to take what I would consider garbage that I wouldn't want to put into my recycle. And I applaud them. I think that it's a phenomenal program, and it has such a huge merit.
Yep, I see where it's straddling both the fundraising and the community service, because it
Yes,
does
ma'am.
fit squarely between them. That's excellent. Thank you, Judith. Scott, how about your, wait, yeah, Scott, how about your group?
So for the first one, we'll have Zachary speak from our group. And are you able to put up our screen, Karina? Thanks. Go ahead, Zach. Oh, you got to take your off mute, Zachary. Sorry.
I've been trying to consider, what do I want to do different with my year as opposed to this past year? And something I've really been giving a lot of thought to is how do we get our club outside, boots on the ground, and start, doing some more community-based projects. And so I was interested to hear, and I think it was the Rockland group, that they've been doing outdoor projects all along throughout COVID, working with the rec department there and like rebuilding picnic tables and trails and things. And so that was really interesting to me. And on here, they were represented by the e-waste as well. In the Ellsworth Noontime, we also do e-waste. And I think everyone was commenting, and our club included, that this year's e-waste was substantially more successful than years past. I think we raised about twice the amount, almost 3 times the amount of money we had in prior years. And I think it just kind of goes to show that people have been very generous, I think, during COVID times, and it's good to see.
Yeah, great. And for the second person, we didn't have anybody lined up, and rather than go to volunteers, I'm going to delegate, and I can do it because he's my president coming in. So John Byrne, go ahead and highlight one of the other items. And you'll have to take yourself off mute.
There we go. One of the ones that I love the idea of, just the mini golf tournament. I think logistics takes up less time, presumably over the course of the day as well, and is a fun event that can be a little bit more family inclusive as well. And so I love that idea, and I'm kind of excited to learn more and explore more with that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that we had 2 clubs in our little group that had miniature golf tournaments. So not something that's very common, to have 2 different clubs to actually highlight that in our little breakout session was fantastic. So yeah, thank you. So Karina, I will turn it back over to you for your breakout room.
Thank you. So I didn't have one. We won't go into that. So is there anybody else? We do well, we're getting toward the end here, but if there's anybody else who, saw something that they really think that they'd like to bring back to their club, feel free to speak up.
I'll go. This is Lisa from the Bar Harbor Club. I thought the reading program, I can't remember the club that was doing it, but they did reading to children. They typically did it in person. And then they decided to switch to a YouTube channel. And I think that that's something that many of our club members can do, whether they're vaccinated or not, whether they feel comfortable going out into the community. I think that that's a really doable project. So that's one I'll take back to Bar Harbor.
Excellent. I've been really impressed with what our club has done in the community as well. They install ramps. We created a budget and got a sponsor and have been buying pieces of different ramps wherever we can, putting them together to fit on different homes. And Robin, I don't know how many have we done, this year during COVID. They've been outdoors working on ramps, installing them. We also in the process somehow got this huge collection of handicapped stuff. Shower chairs and wheelchairs and walkers and you name it.
Canes,
yeah, canes, and put that all on Facebook, and it just flew out of one of our Rotarians' garages. So it's really, really great to hear all of the inventive things that are coming out, and how as difficult as things are, people are really expanding and thinking differently about what they can do to support their communities. So Awesome. I will be making PDFs of all of these and sending them out. We've got a bunch of people in the chat who really like the puzzle fundraiser as well. And they're keep the ideas coming. You guys remember who you all are. Remember who's here. This is your, for you presidents-elect, this is your class. This is the group that's going to be going through the same things that you are at the same times you are going through your entire year. So keep the channels of communication open, because and attend as many district events as you can, because it's these opportunities where you get to share with each other that I think mean more than just about anything. You can learn from me. So I would like to wrap up tonight's meeting with a few of the, I will have the links for the surveys corrected. I forgot to do that. I have the survey for last week is correct. So if you guys could look at that and fill it out, I will be, and it's only like 5 or 6 questions. It's very simple. And I'll be doing another one for tonight, and we'll have one for each of the other weeks too. Just a few questions, just to make sure there aren't things that you have that we're missing. And for your homework for this week, whoops, I'm in the wrong place. That's last week's. Think about your membership. Think about your club and its members specifically. And maybe if you're feeling brave, go into Rotary.org, My Rotary, Rotary Club Central, and go to this year and see if you can, and I'm not sure what your access is at this point, frankly, but see if you can get a report, a membership report for your club. And what are the demographics of your club, the age range, the genders, the different races, the ethnicities, anything you can think of in your club. What is the diversity of your club in all of those areas? And also, don't forget, as Doug, District Governor-elect Doug Curtis mentioned, he went through his district project last week. Typically, when folks come to pets, they are asked to support the district project. And we'd like for you guys to go back to your clubs and see if your club is willing to support the district project. And if so, what amount they are willing to support it for. And we can ask that next week. That's actually all I have for this week. Is there anything else that you guys can think of? Or any questions at all from tonight?
What will, I remember the last Pets I was at, there was a presentation by the district governor-elect, I assume, as to what his or her project was going to be for the coming year. Have we heard that?
That was last week.
I was here last week. I guess I missed it.
No, I think, can I add? I think you're right. Doug talked about it, but he didn't do a specific. Isn't it still in a work in progress? Karina?
I thought that it was going to be it's going to be an environmental project, and there are going to be a number of different ways people can do it in their own community, but you're all going to get to pick what you want to do.
Well, that's not exactly quite right. So let me just real quickly say this.
Yep.
So we have a committee that is run by past district governor, Deb Walters, and she's in the process of working the committee. We're gonna have, the goal is to have 2 global grants on both sides of the border, one in Quebec and one in Maine. That's the goal. And I discussed the funding about it last time, but just briefly, we're not gonna have as much money as we've had in the past, just because of the way Rotary matches our grant money. So we actually have $25,000 from the district, and we need 30,000 to get the 2 global grants, because it's 15,000 per global grant. And Deb and the committee are gonna pick the projects. I'm not gonna pick the project, Ken. I think that's important. So that the goal for me is to have some hands-on work from our Rotarians in our district, so that they can actually go to the project and participate. That's the primary goal. And we'll use whatever money that we raise to do that. We'll split the money up based on, and so we'll have 2 projects, not just one, but both will be wrapped around the environment. And I apologize, I don't have a specific project to give you. But
yeah.
Will they be in our district, or will they be out of the
it'll be
country?
in our district.
Okay.
So I think Ken, you raise a really good point. It's hard to go back and ask for support for something that they don't know what they're supporting yet. Maybe there would be a different way to go about doing this, Doug Curtis. Why don't we have a discussion about this? Because I have to agree, if I was a president-elect going back to my club and just saying, they don't know what they're supporting quite yet. So some of you may feel comfortable doing that, but if any of you don't, I'm sure we can come up with an alternate way of getting that information to them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be done by the time PETS is completed, just so you know. Because I don't think the committee has actually met yet. But I'm not worried about it. The idea is I'm gonna work with whatever money that I have to work with. And I mentioned last week that the Canadian government that normally gives us money for this is not gonna give us any money. Rotary is not gonna match us. So like in the past, like Skowhegan has given like $1,000, for example, towards the district project, as an example. And then Rotary International would match that with $1,000. That's not gonna happen this year. Now, that doesn't mean we're not gonna be not doing local environmental projects. Like Corinna said, we are gonna do that. I wanna encourage a lot of multi-club projects. But as far as the district project itself, it's not like we're gonna go to Dominican Republic and distribute wheelchairs. We're not doing that. So it's gonna be so that local Rotarians, if I'm in Bangor, if I'm in Rockland, or if I'm in Quebec City, I can go hands-on, take a couple of days off for a week or whatever I wanna do to work on this project. And I think it's much more, I don't know, I wanna say much more, I wanna be much more hands-on so the whole district can get in their car and drive to a project. And we're looking at doing something at the district conference as well. So it's not gonna be set in stone, this is what we're doing. I personally don't know what you need in Skowhegan. I don't know what's needed in Quebec. So as a result, I'm gonna give it to this committee that we formed to make that choice. That's what I'm telling you. So maybe Corinna's
Is there
correct.
only gonna be one project in Maine and one in Quebec, or is there gonna be one in Skowhegan, one in Auburn Lewiston, one in Rockland?
No, one in Quebec and one in Maine.
Okay, so people in Bangor aren't gonna go to Bangor and work on their project in Bangor. It's gonna be wherever they decide to do it in Maine, correct?
Correct.
All right.
But we're gonna have a chance to participate in whatever the statewide one is, and in the selection of it.
So the committee is going to be selecting the project. So I would encourage the clubs to contact Deb Walters if you have a project in the environment that you think would be suitable. And then based on the amount of money that we have to fund it, we'll make a decision. So I'll give you an example. Let's just say window dressers where you do window inserts might be a suggestion. And let's say that one wins, okay? Then the club members can go to the location where window dressers are and physically make the window inserts.
So I think, suffice it to be said that the the district projects, plural, one in Quebec, one in Maine, will be based upon protection of the environment. That's a given. That's what it's supposed to be about. And the whatever project is done in Quebec, a club from Maine will be listed as the host of it in order to be able to meet the contingencies of a global grant, and vice versa. The one in Maine will have a host from Quebec.
More people on hand and getting the work done. People of action, right?
Exactly. All right, so thank you guys all for attending tonight, and we will see you next Wednesday. I will send out another, what? Monday? Sorry. We will see you next Monday. It's been a long day, and hopefully we will see you all there. Thank you very much. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Right.
Good night.
Night.
Night.